So we had at the weekend a fantastic victory for England, 6-0, which we've spoken about. If you haven't already, go back and watch that discussion. We alluded to the fact that we were going to look at that as a football match on its own, because there was some disgusting things that happened in the fact of the racism that was going on in the game. It was stopped twice. Gareth Southgate came out and said if it had carried on into the second half, then they'd decided as a team to come off. Fortunately for football fans, that didn't happen. There seemed to be, a number of fans that were either asked to leave or left because of the announcements. I feel that UEFA has started to look at the problems. I think it's a little bit late for that. Because previously their things were, play behind closed doors. Fans then got in. 5,000 seats were taken away for this match. It was in a 40,000 seat stadium. They only sold 15,000 tickets, and most
4,000 of us, 4,000 were of us.
Exactly. So that doesn't work. I think you've got to look at why it's happening. It's happening because people are stupid and intolerant and have just got no brains. Essentially, that's the only reason for it. It was a big problem here. English teams were banned from playing in Europe, and things like that have happened. But speaking to somebody who was there, the English fans apparently were as bad as the Bulgarian fans. And I'm not saying all the Bulgarian fans, because when they panned to the crowd, there were a number of people who looked disgusted.
Yeah.
So I think it's unfair. It's unfair to say it's Bulgarian fans. It's people who are not fans of football, but use that as a tool to be disruptive.
Yep.
They're not football fans, because they're not there to watch football. They're there to be just inhumane, horrible people to other people. But I mean, what's your thoughts on it? What do you think we as fans, people watching as fans, UEFA, the team, what more can be done?
Funnily enough, this was actually a discussion that they were talking about on a radio channel this morning, which was that they were bringing up the issues of obviously what happened yesterday. It's very hard for anyone, I think, to be able to say this is going to be, or this is the correct course of punishment for the offending fans, teams, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But then you would have other people's opinions which disagreed with that. So just as an example, it was fine the teams or fine the football associations.
Yeah.
And then also play behind closed doors, banned from competition or European competitions for X amount of time.
Yeah.
But then you would have someone else that come in and said, no, that's not. It's unfair then on the majority who are there to watch the football, there to support their nation. That, I think, is unfortunately is one of those questions which I think is going to be extremely hard for anyone to kind of answer unless you are the head of the relevant football associations and the governing body.
Yep.
I think it's disgusting that we are living within these modern times, and it's something that still seems to be a problem. I mean, we can't. I think that one of the things that's frustrated me about this whole situation is the kind of uproar that has come about it. And what I mean by that is that I think it's disgusting what has happened, but we're not exactly squeaky clean.
No. No, it happens in the lower leagues every week.
For certainly for the Premier League, we've had some fairly recent incidences of this with people missing penalties and stuff like that, and they're getting.
It's fans, isn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, you had those select few Chelsea fans who wouldn't let the bloke on the train.
Yeah.
It's a lot wider issue, I think, than people realise.
Yeah.
I don't know what causes it. I mean, okay, there are some things which are taken out of context.
Yep.
From different social media outlets which don't necessarily reflect that person's views. There are certain things that are said in jest that are totally jokes, but it comes down to that wider issue of ignorance and stupidity. There's nothing else that explains it, and I don't think you're going to ever get rid of it completely, because there are always going to be ignorant and stupid people who want to ruin something for everyone else.
Yep.
I think over here they need to publish faces.
Yep.
Majority of grounds have CCTV, and you have to purchase a ticket with your name on, with your address on, so you should be able to narrow it down to who's doing it. But publicise it. The screens are big enough in football stadiums to put up a name and a face. This person has been banned for racism.
Didn't that actually happen with one of the Chelsea fans giving some stick to Raheem Sterling?
Probably.
And you actually see the guy being escorted out at the stadium. I can't remember when that was.
No, I do vaguely recall what you're on about.
But I suppose I agree with that. But I think one of the good things about our football association is trying to kind of discourage these people from making asses of themselves, is for anyone that hears or sees anyone throwing abuse out to players to notify stewards and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the local policing within there, and they will be escorted out, which I think is great. And
there's a lot of lifetime bans going about at the minute, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah,
because those people don't want to watch football.
And I think that there was a guy this guy that I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure got a prison sentence.
Good.
For like 21 weeks or 12 weeks, and the funny thing is that there was kind of a lot of backtracking about it. It's like, I didn't mean to do it, blah 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 blah, and the sad thing is that it could be this guy is the nicest guy, has a few beers beforehand, wouldn't say boo to a ghost normally, gets surrounded by the wrong type of people, shall we say.
Yep.
And beer, emotions, your team not winning, it can make you do stupid things. Some people are extremely passionate about the game, but these people do not deserve the level of abuse.
No, not at all. Me, I'm all for one for swearing and calling people a fucking idiot. You've got no arms, you've got no legs. Like, my nan could kick that ball better than you. She's been dead for like 8 years, probably more than that by this point. Like, I can go with that, but you've also, like, majority of the people who've been caught are adults and have responsibility and know that if they do something, they have to be responsible for those actions. So yeah, all right, I get the point of you could get caught up in the moment after a few beers, but then you know deep down you run a risk of what like a bit like pitch invading. You get on the pitch, you know you're gonna get banned. There's no question of that, which is why people don't go on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think over here the bigger clubs are doing a lot more to ban these people.
Yep.
But I don't know how they get rid of it. The bit I'm concerned about is, to start off with, you couldn't hear much on the telly.
Right.
The boos started getting louder, but it only seemed to be to start off with when Raheem Sterling got the ball. And the commentators straight away said, "Oh, that's racist behaviour." Where actually, to start off with, I thought, well, are they just trying to put him off because he is our best player? By a country mile, he is our best player. And what better way to put him off than a whole stadium of people booing you? Just to get in your head. And that's what I thought it might have been to start off with. But then it started to get more and more. And the bit that did concern me more so is it's okay, they're booing coloured players. They had a mixed race player in their own squad. So that doesn't really make any sense. No. Are you booing him as well? Or are you that ignorant you don't care? I think the biggest positive that come out of that game was the stoppages.
Yep.
UEFA seemed to put these protocols in, and that did seem to curtail some of it. But the Bulgarian captain going to speak to that bloke in the crowd, don't know who he was, but he must have been somewhere in that organisation of people that they would have listened to him, because he was pleading with him to say it needs to stop, because otherwise there's not many football.
That I think that was one of the biggest things that I took away from that, is that it's not necessarily, well, you would hope that it's not necessarily the players on the pitch that are dishing out the abuse to each other. It is the select few who, as you said earlier, want to be disruptive.
Yeah, they're not people who want to go and watch football. I get passionate about it, you get passionate about it. Thousands of people do, but we don't then abuse players for the colour of their skin.
No.
That doesn't make it just doesn't make any sense. The bit I'm concerned about is if it is the case that, and I don't want to this is probably going to sound wrong, but if those select people then start to go to other games to sit in away ends, are different countries going to get tarnished with that brush when it's not those people? If it's not people of that nationality or not those clubs. And West Ham made the mistake of selling off season tickets for their new stadium and got lots and lots. We had the most bans ever in the history of the club in that first season, because there were lots of people who weren't West Ham fans being disruptive, because it don't matter. It makes the club look bad. So my biggest concern would be like those Bulgarians, a lot of them wearing Lazio tops, which, as far as I'm aware, isn't in Bulgaria.
No.
So was that Lazio fans going to a Bulgaria game? Was that Bulgarian Lazio fans? Were they just people who thought, right, that's the football shirts we can get the most of, we'll just wear them? You know, if I go and get a Tottenham shirt and sit in the Tottenham end and start throwing out racist abuse, I'm not a West Ham fan, I'm a Tottenham fan. Which isn't correct, because I'm not. Yeah. But do you get what I mean? I think if you ban certain countries, that it will just move the problems.
Well, this is literally why I said at the start of the of this particular part that I don't think there is.
There's not a simple solution, is there?
No, there's definitely not. I mean, it's been going on for
not unless you expunge people from society, but.
Well, it's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of generations. I think potentially it could be something that is passed between generations, depending on the type of upbringing. I know that sounds horrible.
No, but it's cultural, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a better way of putting it. One thing I did want to get your opinion on.
Yes.
Which, when I first was watching this last night, I thought it was kind of a good way to do it, because, like I said, it's the minority that are causing the problem.
Yep.
But the 3-strike rule.
Yep.
As I said, when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, because it gives you the chance for these people to kind of wind the necks in, and for the other people around them to say, look, sort yourselves out. Yes. You're going to ruin it for all of us. Second time, it's like, right, this is getting serious. One more time, and then we're off. But what I did want to say, and this is the bit that I'd listened to earlier, that I did actually come away and think, do you know what? That's a really good point. Why give it the 3-strike rule? Why does it take? Why should a player take that particular abuse 3 times before they go, do you know what, I'm not going to do it?
Yeah, it's difficult because they didn't really explain this beforehand, and I don't think they've obviously started to put protocols in place to try and stop it from happening at games. I think from what I understand, the first time is they speak to the managers, they speak to the captains, they speak to the players, say, "Are you happy to carry on?" The second,
but they have to do the announcement the first time.
They then put that into the crowd to say, "There's this behaviour going on. It's not acceptable. We need to stop." I get that. If it carries on after that, the second stage is the referee can postpone or can stop the game for a period of time. That didn't happen.
No.
Now, I think the England players said, "No, we'll carry on."
I think there was only like 5 minutes to go till the end of the half anyway.
But they had 6 minutes added on. By that point, it should have been more than 6 minutes. It was a good 10, maybe 15 minutes that had not been played. Bulgaria are probably happy about that because we beat them 6-0. It probably would have been more than that. But what happens to the score? If it's abandoned, is it just or do they stop it at that score line? Because if you're 2-0 up and you get asked, you want the game to be abandoned, there's not a single footballer who wants to give up a 2-0 scoreline. I don't believe that losing's in any of their mentalities. So if that scoreline just gets scrubbed out, you don't get a score for that match, then that's unfair, isn't it? If you're 2-0 down and you get asked you want to stop the match, of course you're going to say yes. So what happens to that score?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure if it's like the only thing I've got to kind of compare it to is like if you quit out of a game of FIFA,
you forfeit 3-0.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same process for that. I mean, I do know that once the match is abandoned, say if we'd have walked off the pitch for the reasons that we've just been discussing, we would have got the 3 points for that.
Yep. Okay. So, but going back to your point is, I think you're correct. It shouldn't have to happen 3 times. I think it should be, right, we've got this behaviour going on, and if it happens again, that's it. You shouldn't have to be told 3 times or asked 3 times. You should know as a morally good person that actually that shouldn't happen in the first place. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it wasn't small sections, I don't know if I did say it about the England fans, the sections of them as well, from the person I spoke to. Yeah. There was a chant going round the stadium about who put the goal in the racist net as Raheem Sterling. There then, allegedly, from what I've been told by the person who was at the game, there was another verse to that, which was as vile, if not more vile, than just booing those players.
And that brings...
There's no place for it, regardless of if it's white people being racist towards black people or Asian people or brown people or vice versa. It shouldn't happen. There's no place for it. End of story. Mm-hmm. That's as simple as it gets. It's not accepted in society. I don't think it's acceptable. You're not a football fan. You're a fucking idiot, is what you are. And you should get a special ticket that you show up and you go, I'm a fucking idiot. And they just throw you in a big hole in the ground. And that's it.
That's the solution.
That's the solution. No, I mean, there are, like to mention, there are companies out there and organisations out there such as Kick It Out, which are trying to tackle it. But people hear of them, but I don't know what they do. I'd like to know what they do. Yeah. We'll put a link to their website, I think, in the description.
Maybe it's something for us to do some research on.
Yeah. But I think what it needs is more football fans to actually get behind these organisations properly and start really drilling down into you're not welcome. You're not welcome. Yes, all right, you might be passionate. I don't care. You're not welcome. And that's it. And we should ban these people and publicise who they are. So if they've got mums and dads and they're under 18, then, look at this wonderful child you've brought up who's a racist. Or if they've got children of their own or families, look at this wonderful person who's a racist. And they're your family. You deal with them. Because society doesn't want them anymore. Because they're vile.
And that could potentially have an impact on future jobs and all that sort of stuff as well. Yeah.
But I think at that point, if you are choosing to be a racist and you are choosing to be that way, then you should opt out of those other things. So, you can't get a job. Why can't you get a job? Oh, because I've been advertised as I'm a racist because of the things that I say to people. Okay, well then you opt out of the job seekers allowance because that's for people who want to be part of society, and you don't. You know, I think it's a lot deeper in it. I don't like governments getting involved in everything, but I think they need to. Mm-hmm. The Bulgarian Prime Minister urged the president of the Bulgarian Football Association to resign, and he did. Mm-hmm. But are they going to put someone in place who wants to tackle it? Because he obviously didn't. That's why they've got so many problems. They've got to be harsh and they've got to be consistent. And that comes from, I think, football associations working together, UEFA being there as well, holding these meetings, and then not just having meetings. This is what we're going to do. Let's put it in a mission statement. Actually do it. Mm-hmm. Take some action. Get rid of these people out of our game. Oh yeah, this is a pleasant surprise, isn't it? Unfortunately, at this point, the camera ran out of footage. Our discussion did go on a lot longer. Some of it became a lot more elaborate as to ideas of what we could do with these horrible people in our society. We won't go into that. All we can say is that we both agreed that it hasn't got any part in either one, in football, or two, in society. So what we would like to do is for everyone to go and have a look at these organisations such as Kick It Out. We'll put a few in the description. Support them as you can. Do what you can as a fan to discourage these people from coming to games. If you've got a friend that after a bevy, he might become a bit like that, then don't take him. It's better for you, it's better for him, it's better for everyone else. And you need to encourage him to actually open his eyes to society and to expand his horizons as to what people are capable of, regardless of their colour or their beliefs. All we will say is we're back again. Hopefully I won't be wearing a Manchester United shirt in the next episode, but keep it up. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and like the video. Cheers. Bye.